A documentary from a filmmaker who visited New Orleans months after the hurricane on this episode. We'll interview National Geographic ecotourism explorer Costa Christ. In our travel segment, we visit Rome, the capital of Italy. The third most visited city in Europe, Rome is a bustling modern city with a history that spans 2,500 years. A government site on web tips that provides safety and survival information. All these stories and more on Travel Television. And now on to our first stop.
Costa Christ is a recognized expert on sustainable travel and ecotourism. He writes regularly for National Geographic Adventure magazine, and his articles on protecting the cultural and natural heritage of our planet have appeared in many publications, including the New York Times, the International Herald Tribune, and the Boston Globe. He is a founding member and a former chairperson of the board of the International Ecotourism Society, and he has traveled to over 100 countries worldwide, always with an eye on sustainable tourism.
I've been involved as a pioneer and one of the early, leaders in the whole movement of ecotourism, and that tourism could be a threat or it could be a tremendous opportunity, and we've worked hard to try and make that an opportunity. I think first of all what we need to do is clarify that ecotourism and nature travel are not the same thing. But ecotourism is responsible travel to natural areas that protects nature and sustains the well-being of local people. And in many respects with ecotourism, either kind of have it or you don't. And so it's really a set of principles and practices that when applied to nature and adventure travel, raise the bar in a more enlightened travel experience, both for the traveler and the destination. Luckily today there are more ways to travel with more operators that are doing good things. When I plan a trip, I ask the company, hey, can you tell me a little bit about how you are giving back to the destination that we visit? Do you partner with any local conservation groups that are helping, if it's a nature trip, that are helping to protect the environment we're visiting? And in fact, I just came back from Cambodia, and I visited a site outside of Angkor ruins called Kokare. Spectacular, ancient cultural heritage ruins. And there's a group there called Heritage Watch that's working in partnership with the local communities to ensure, one, those ruins are taken care of, and two, that tourism is giving them a positive, social benefit. So ask the company, you want to travel with, how are you ensuring that this trip is doing something good for the destination as much as it's doing something positive for me and positive for the environment?
So what can National Geographic add to people's awareness of ecotourism and the such?
National Geographic Adventure magazine published the first ever rating of tour operators, and the cover story was called Best Outfitters on Earth. And you can go online and you will see 150 companies rated and scored from everything from sustainability to quality of service to education and interpretation to customer satisfaction.
Are they going to continually update that as well?
We are. We're going to continually update that as well, and we are probably going to start doing this every year, every other year. So this tool looks at some of those issues. And at the same time, we think that travelers should ask some of the questions that I mentioned a moment ago. There are dozens of outfitters that are doing tremendous things. They are combining trips of a lifetime in a way that's good for the planet. And that's the future of travel.
Right, so the social responsibility needs to be not only on the travel giver, but the traveler.
We don't get travel and tourism right. We run the risk of destroying the very places that inspire us. We need to make sure that the cultural and natural heritage of our planet is celebrated and protected. And lucky for us, it's not an either-or option. We can have a great trip and do it in a way that's good for the place we visit.
So Costas, how do eco-travel and volunteer travel kind of cross paths and work together?
Ecotourism, again, gets at the heart of travel that's good for the environment, good for the local people. Voluntourism, or volunteer travel, embraces this notion of a rewarding cultural interchange between the visitor and the visited.
Well, Kostas, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it.
This is Kevin Mayberry, Travel Television. Thank you. On the first day that residents were allowed to return to their communities and neighborhoods in New Orleans, S.D. Blanchard brought her camera to capture the return of the residents to what had been their homes. This documentary captures the first visits back to the destroyed neighborhoods.
On December 1st, 2005, I went to the lower Ninth Ward of New Orleans on the first day that residents were allowed into their neighborhood to visit their homes. It had been 3 months since Hurricane Katrina. My name is Estee Blanchard, and these are the stories of the people I met.
Heaven she rides, heaven she rides me down. Heaven she rides, heaven she rides me down.
What are you doing here today, ma'am?
This great historic neighborhood has been opened up to the people who have made it great, who've raised their children, and who've had dreams for their grandchildren. And here, because my heart is here, connected to theirs, in sorrow, in disbelief, in confusion, in anger, but with a fierce determination to pick up our lives from out of the ashes that have been left behind because of the waters of Katrina, and because of the slow movement and no movement of the federal response to the devastating suffering of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama.
My boy broke the bedroom window upstairs, and that's how, but all this here was flooded. All around here, all that was all flooded. And my boy saved my daughter and her 3 little children, another lady, and her 3 little children, and 2 men floated from somewhere, and he took and saved them. And I came to peep to see. I said, y'all watch for the water. And when we got right there to peep at that front end on that bed, in the bedroom over there, that water came on up, shoo, and that water pushed me, and that water put me. I said, oh no, y'all. I said, we got to get out of here. So we came and we pulled that ladder down. When we pulled that ladder down from there, then my boy went out and saved the city. Thank God. Water was all the way up here, and we was all up here in the logs. But there's a bigger hole on the side there, where he snatched all us from. And that's how we got out. Yeah, they know that liver wasn't fixed right. They should have been handled up on that, but look, all the people got drowned. That's what I thank God for. My life.
This is an awful situation. I didn't realize how bad it was, because actually I was getting angry when I would talk to my friends and family, and they would say, I'm not coming back to New Orleans. I'm like, don't say that, you know. But now that I've been here for 28 hours, I see exactly what they mean. It's something hard to come back to. I know it's hard for you to imagine, but this was once a beautiful home. This was once a beautiful living room, believe it or not. Be careful because it's really bad, you know. This was a lovely kitchen at one time.
What was the best thing you guys used to cook here?
Oh, gumbo. Gumbo, seafood, and red beans and rice and fried chicken. You better believe it.
My name is Jesse Ellis Jr., jazz man.
I'm living now in Greensburg, Louisiana. Watch your step. This is my bedroom. I have a dresser up under the bed. That's all my clothes from here all the way to the end there. That's all my clothes. That's old collectible 35 albums here. 33 that'll never be able to be played again. It's just total devastation everywhere. I ain't never seen nothing like this before in my life. Books that I read, I can't read no more. All my CDs is all gone. It's music. What's the music? I only do so much today. I ain't got time.
A lot of my family and friends made it out fine. Right behind me is my cousin's home, basically where him and his family live. And he's trying to salvage some of his things and his personal property.
My neighbor's house that's sitting right here, it's a black and white double. Right there. I got family, friends, cousins. You know, just think it was just that you realized you had so much. And it just poof, nobody knew. I tell people, they say, oh, you're going back. I said, I can't explain to you or answer that without you seeing this area. It's almost like an aftermath of a war. But at the same time, you know, I thank Lord every morning I wake up. My family, my mom. But this is etched in our minds for the rest of our lives. What's happening now? My little boy would tell me, I want to go home, Daddy. I want to go home. I want to play with my toys. If that don't get you in your heart, you're not human.
I'm a New Orleans evacuee. I lost everything, and I just really can't believe what's really going on in New Orleans right now. They're lying to people. They're telling people that, come on back to New Orleans, come on back. What is it come back to New Orleans for? Talk about 6 months away from now. Hurricane season will be working up again in 6 months again. Tell the truth. What's really going on? Why should people even come back to New Orleans and you ain't got a plan yet for the levee board yet? You know why? Because you're murderers. You killed all of us. You killed plenty of people. And y'all gonna have to answer to God for that.
I've been out of my house like 3 months. They have, my insurance people haven't gave me a dime. FEMA haven't gave me a dime. And I'm living out of my car. I'm living in an old piece of house up in the country. And they won't give me nothing. And they won't pay me for my loss of use. But they took my $500-something a year for my insurance. And they won't pay. And that's all I got to say because I'm getting mad, I'm getting disgusted. I feel like doing like them people putting a bomb on me and just blowing up everything because the insurance people not right. That everybody having a problem with the insurance people, but they take their money.
If I would have took too long to make a decision, it would have been the wrong decision. So basically, our decision was to just jump in the truck. And we jumped in the truck and we got right here to, what is that? Claiborne and Caffin. Right by the school. That's as far as we got. And my stepdad told me, get out. Me and my baby and my mom, just get out. And, you know, he handed me a ice chest so I can float. She went under about 3 times. And, you know, like I said, I asked, when she went under, I asked God just to put her back in my hand because it was that murky water and all I could do was just reach. And I grabbed her like that and just pulled her up and pulled her on my shoulders. I said, this is where you're going to stick at. And once I got to the school, I really, you know, I was in the mix of it. The wind, the rain, the water. I'm saying people just floating by your own doors or anything they could find, it was floating. That's when I got rescued, it was just water. You know, just rooftops. So I was like, oh, once the water go down, everything's gonna be okay. But now that I'm back, I don't really see no rebuilding. I really don't. I don't see how people are going to start over because it's really hard. By me just looking at it, it hurts me. You know, I done rode around and this is basically my hood. You know, I've been in this hood for 24 years and this is all I've known. And for me to just come and just basically see that nothing's here. My faith is stronger now because I am a survivor. You know, I survived this. And I believe if I can survive this, I can survive anything. You know, anything that comes my way, I can do it. You know, I'm only 24 years old. You know, and there's a lot of people that can't start over, you know, that's up in that age that can't start over. I have a clean sheet of paper now, you know, and I can start with the date and just go ahead on. A new chapter of my life has been started. I'm really becoming to love Birmingham, but, you know, deep down in my heart and in my soul, New Orleans will always be my home.
So much of what makes New Orleans special and unique begins a sense of family, a sense of connectivity with neighbors, knowing one another. There are the rumor mills, and there are misstatements and misrepresentations of distortions to put fear in people and to make them walk away from their investments and from their legacy. This is the United States of America, and there is great capacity, and this is investment. This is 59% home ownership. These are families who own their home. Property rights are a paramount right in these United States. And as this great country can rebuild foreign nations, this great country can rebuild this historic neighborhood that is a part of the soul of New Orleans.
All of my ghosts have become one and tonight.
There is so much more information available from the CDC, including a survival guide for safe travels. This page is dedicated to your safe planning and preparation. Every year, more and more Americans are traveling internationally for vacation, business, volunteerism, and to visit friends and family. Whatever your reason for traveling, the information on this page will help you to be proactive, prepared, and protected when it comes to your health and the health of others while you are traveling. Be proactive. It's so important to take steps to anticipate any issues that could arise during your trip. The information in this web section helps you plan for a safe and healthy trip. Are you too sick to travel? Recent illnesses, injuries, or surgeries? Do you have any special health needs? Babies and small children, pregnant women, people with disabilities, people with weakened immune systems? Be prepared. No one wants to think about getting sick or hurt during a trip, but sometimes these things happen. You may not be able to prevent every illness or injury, but you can plan ahead to be able to deal with them. Be protected. It is important to practice healthy behaviors during your trip and after you return home. This section outlines how you can protect yourself and others from illness during your trip. Use sunscreen and insect repellent as directed. Be careful about food and water. Try not to take risks with your health and safety. Limit alcohol intake and do not drink alcohol and drive. Wear a seatbelt. Wear protective gear when doing adventure activities. Respect your host country and its people by following local laws and customs. For more information on your responsibilities as a traveler, listen to the CDC's podcast entitled Proactive, Prepared, and Protected.
Experience the world of volunteering from one of the oldest and largest worldwide organizations, Eye to Eye. Since 1994, this organization has been developing trips for student gap years, seniors, and English as a second language learners. Annually, Eye to Eye sends 5,000 volunteers to over 500 projects in 23 countries and generates 1 million service hours each year.
So I'm Alexi Nestora with Eye to Eye Meaningful Travel. I'm the director of the North American branch. What we do is we do volunteer vacations. So anything from 1 to 24 weeks, working in over 500 projects in 30 countries, ranging from conservation work to community development, building to teaching. So if you're not the building type, we have actually projects that work in helping newspapers and media or in small businesses in third world countries, as well as you could teach English. So it's not always a hard labor kind of a trip. We've actually recently just introduced 2 new trips that are favored for baby boomers. So they're called our Premier Packs, and it means that you're going to do some hardcore volunteering during the day. You're really working hard, but you won't be staying in a tent or a mud hut at the end of the day. You'll be staying in not a luxury hotel, but you'll be staying in a nice hotel, so you can enjoy that. The other option we've just introduced for baby boomer generation is the cultural tours. So instead of just volunteering for 2 weeks straight, maybe that's not for you. You want to go to India, maybe you want to see a little bit of the sights, a little bit of volunteering. It's a mixture of both. It's kind of a step in the water for people before they take a real volunteer vacation. We've recently introduced carbon neutral projects, which are combating global warming. So normally when you take an airplane trip, you're going to have at least 5 to 10 tons of carbon emissions for your trip. What we do is we work with maybe the Amazon, and you're going to plant trees that will help compensate and decrease that amount of emissions that you're giving off. So if you want to take a vacation and give back in a green way, we definitely have that as well. Alternative spring break is becoming the main thing, really. People are sick of going to Cancun and getting drunk for a week or two. That's definitely becoming old, and employers are more and more looking at what people are doing during their spring break. It is a judge of what the kind of employee somebody's going to have. So we've had a huge increase in alternative spring break. It ranges from Costa Rica, working with sea turtles. You can go to South Africa, work in an orphanage. You can go to Kenya or Ecuador, work in the Galapagos. We also have internships for college students. So if they were maybe a marketing major, you could go to Iguazu Falls in Argentina, and you could help them with their marketing and help their tourism board a little bit there. So if you want to get some real world experience, it's a great way to do it. You can do it during your spring break or summer vacation. We don't do anything in America because our mission is to get Americans to go abroad and learn about other cultures. But I can say since September 11th, there has been an overwhelming need for people to go out and volunteer on their vacation, not just lie on a beach and do nothing. So our participation has risen about over 600% since September 11th. So people are really getting out there and giving back.
This is our neighborhood. You can tell some people are back living in their homes, and then some people are just not back.
Recovery in the Reverend Connie Thomas's New Orleans neighborhood reflects her own personal journey, progressing, coming back, finally.
Hey, my Angela, I love you so much. I love you too.
For every old friend who finally returns, another is gone for good. So it is with Thomas's life mission as well. Like her home, the United Methodist Church she served was wrecked in the storm. Decommissioned, it's now for sale as is.
Every day this church was open and filled with young people from around the community, and I don't know where those children are.
But she's quickly back in the present.
You live with knowing that you're being healed every day.
Now Thomas leads a new church, Mount Zion United Methodist. It's accomplishing much against the odds. A health clinic has begun operating in the church.
What the clinic represents for me also is cutting-edge ministry.
The clinic sets up Tuesday nights in the room where services are held, which isn't the sanctuary. That still looks like it did right after Katrina.
When I hear the roofers, it makes me feel that it's happening.
The work ahead still stretches to the horizon, in the church building and all around her. And Connie Thomas stays right in the middle of it all, between complete disaster and an optimistic future.
There really are memories that I have, that I always have, but in the midst of it, I know that God is there, and I just have this confidence that it's going to be okay, and it is already okay.
Welcome to Italy and the port city of Civitavecchia. This is our jumping off point to explore Rome, and we're going to do it by rail, 1 hour away. welcome to public transportation in Italy. We're in the queue to get the tickets to get to Rome. Hopefully we'll catch the next train. All right, so our little ticket here that got us on the train also gets us at St. Peter's, the station stop, onto bus number 64, 2 stops away from St. Peter's Basilica.
You don't have to travel to the Gulf Coast to volunteer your time and enthusiasm. You can be a virtual volunteer at Traveltelevision.org. We need people to help us with our web development and maintenance. We need writers, producers, video editors, artists, and anyone who has expertise in outreach and marketing. Make a difference by volunteering with this nonprofit organization, and you'll be giving a much-needed virtual boost to the volunteers in Louisiana and Mississippi. Please email us at iwantohelp@traveltelevision.org.